I think we're all properly and properly dressed for the type of film it is. We're scruffy kids still, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a fun part of the filmmaking process. It really is. I just think they should accept the reality of it since we're their minor leagues. I mean, I'm going to keep pushing that all the way through until something gets a little. And thank God the fucking Writers Guild had the balls, the cojones, to stand up to them 2 times in a row and say, you know, we're your blood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, in this project you're doing, are there films that you watch all the time that you really think should have a lot of legs based on the strength of them that
It's come up recently.
kind of don't meet the no, no,
Yeah.
I'm not asking for specific
Oh,
films, but
yeah.
do you notice a bunch that just never sort of reach the audience that they deserve or um
Well, I
that
was looking at the credits from Lorne and Rose, which had Jacqueline Bisset in it. It was I don't know, they call it a two-hander. I hate expressions like that. But, there's two of them, right? And she was the first big celebrity that I ever interviewed in my film. It's like 1999. And she's so beautiful and such an amazing actress. So, but they had a festival consultant in their credits. Um, so
right.
I think that's what's going on with 7,000 festivals, and you know I would take this film personally out to high schools in June and colleges in September.
Our film.
Your film.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's spot on. I mean, that's kind of the audience that we
You
were hoping to that would love this and connect with this and have like their own again their
yeah,
own deli that they remember hanging out at their own
yeah.
their old friends that they would love to kind of share that experience with and reminisce about.
Call
Yeah.
Dan Robish at Slam Dance. Call me afterwards. I'll give you his number. He's an expert in how you take out your own distribution. And
Mm,
I think we're at the point where you can make a streaming deal with a big company, and still have control of your own exhibition rights in theaters if they're not going to do a campaign for you. And I think you need to hold them to that. That there's no question at any point in time, whatever you're going to do, whatever you want with your film and putting it up in a theater, if they're not going to
mhm.
take it out. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's also like with this type of rollout, you know what Gravitas is putting the film out, it'll be available for rental on
Oh,
every
well,
major
forget it. Well,
platform.
that's just general advice.
Yeah,
Gravitas,
yeah.
what to do. Um,
No, no, but what we, it's like based on before the call got cut off, we were talking about the cast and I know, Max and I are committed to continuing to make more films and the cast are going to be in tons of things moving forward as they're so talented. So
yeah.
hopefully, over the years people return to it and return to it and who knows what type of like long life it might have in an ideal world.
Well, the Clint Eastwood approach works off Hollywood, in Hollywood, and around Hollywood. It don't matter to him. He makes He's got his crew, a lot of actors, you work a rapport and, you know, that's the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a good model. You brought some actors up, you can get them for another role if they start coming up. I think
Yeah.
the guy who had
I thought
muscle
the
he was going
character
to
in
make it.
juror number. Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
I was going to say that the big guy, not the big black guy, the other guy with the muscles, he was playing an Italian, right? He's an Italian.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think he'll make it. He did his best, Brando at one point. You could just see he was doing Brando. It's like,
Yeah, Gil Perez-Abraham, super
Yeah.
talented actor. He's in the Batman movies right now, and he was just in Carry On Netflix, and
oh,
he's
shit.
also a talented writer. He has a script that I've been looking at that would be another independent film that he wrote with his wife, Ani Mesa, who plays Sophia in our film. And
Oh, that's interesting.
they're both, multi-talented, awesome performers. And yeah, I think like the sky's the limit for what they can go on to do.
Yeah, like I said to the other guy, he's going to make it as long as he wants to act. The one kid who kept complaining about his designer stuff, I see him as a producer for sure, you know. And the guy with the beard, I think he still wants to be Orson Welles.
I mean, they're all young, we're all young, so we just have to see. It's
Yeah.
hard to accept the unknown, but I wouldn't be surprised if any one of them, does something huge in a variety of different roles.
Yeah.
Acting, producing, directing, whatever it might be.
You sound like there's some guys um I've been friends with for years in North Jersey who've been putting a nice like kind of team of people together and successfully making whatever kind of films they could at the different times. One guy is a really good actor, a very good friend of mine. You should hook with those guys. All right, we talk. So how did you split out the directing kind of thing between, because there's a lot more people now have co-directing too. There wasn't really, the whole auteur idea was it's supposed to be an auteur. So what is it? It's an auteuring team or something like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I would say that we just kind of naturally had a good rhythm, and we trusted each other's opinions and ability. Like, we didn't always have to be discussing every single note or whatever on set. It was, if somebody felt strongly about a note, we just went right to the actors. And I think it was just kind of building that trust again through our long friendship and the writing process, that we knew so clearly what we wanted. Um, so yeah, we were kind of just both at Video Village, both ready to go and chat with the actors in between takes and in rehearsals, and it was kind of just a very natural process.
I think
Uh,
if we had sat down and wrote the script together, it would probably be more challenging. But the fact that we,
Mhm.
had the experience of writing every word together, like we kind of understood what the tone was. So we were sort of looking for the same things. So it could naturally fall into place. So, even if there was another, piece of material that people were setting off to co-direct, I think making sure you spend a lot of time with the script and going through the script and getting like a unified vision in place would be like
Definitely.
instrumental.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get that on the more expensive films because now everybody's getting paid so much that they can't tell their wives or husbands that that's what they got for 5 days. We rehearsed before and we're much better. Yeah. That's
Right. Rehearsal time is huge. I think we made an effort to bring up the cast to the location a little early so we could sit with the script and work out a couple of the scenes, and the fact that they got close, and some of the actors were real leaders, and getting them together, in their own time to go through the script a little bit too. So like that all proved to be instrumental because we shot on such a tight schedule that we kind of had to be ready to nail the performances right away. And
yeah.
sometimes
But
like,
that's another problem for some of the other films we're maybe not as fresh and as in have the ecosystem that you had. That they always seem to look like they have a week to 10 days less than they should have had to shoot it and make that film. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
that's
not
Yeah.
only that's true, but like, I've done a lot of producing work now, and like in the indie space, what makes it so challenging is like you don't really have an opportunity to go like reshoot things and rework things that aren't working. So you kind of like the audience wants to watch something that's like perfect, but that means that you're like sticking the landing every single day if they're having that sort of a
Well, were you shooting multiple cameras besides the fight scene, obviously, which was very well done and as much in its authenticity as executing it, I believe.
Thank you.
Were you multiple cameras most of the time? Just
We,
on
we were one camera the whole time.
did you shoot
Yeah.
the fight scene one camera too?
Yeah, yeah, everything was one camera, and like you were saying, like time is obviously the biggest stress on most film sets and the most valuable asset you have. And with independent film, you don't have a lot of time generally. So we were very fortunate, like we were saying, with the actors of how well prepared they are and how um malleable they were to change and improvising, and same with the crew. So
The
we were very
DP is
fortunate and very lucky.
definitely was
Yeah.
able to adjust what's his name?
Say that one more time.
The DP?
Oh, Todd
For
Rawhide.
the fight scene though, especially like one of the producers, James Benson, really like storyboarded the whole thing with us. So like we were able to like clearly get what we needed, I think. And we were lucky to have James up there producing. Like he's a super talented like writer and director in his own right. So like sometimes just leaning into like the expertise of who you populate around you is like super beneficial. So that was like a good lesson to learn from that. Is like, okay, maybe if James takes the lead on this, we'll end up with a better result than what we could just get on our own.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but you both were out there directing on the fight scene, yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course, of course.
Yeah,
We were
that
there.
was just very well executed, I thought.
thank you.
Thank you.
So it occurred to me that not only should it be exhibition rights, but you should also have um uh rights on the Blu-rays and the DVDs as long as you're willing to share profits. If someone doesn't want to go out and market it, because look at you, if you make a body of work and you make 3 films and they got 8, you don't have to give all those. I've been saying this for years, way back, and a lot of people got burnt and didn't do that, but finally people learned to split their rights. But there's no reason you can't sell through the streaming and still hold individual special collection rights and all that. So if you know people with a lot of films that they've made over 10, 12 years, and and you're in a group, then you actually can have a catalog. It's not so hard to bring together the symbiotic groups of good people who own intellectual property. It doesn't always have to just go through those channels. Long as they're going to spend and market it, that's fine. But if they, when they get stuck and they can't stop you. That's where I think the problem is. I think I'm kind of leading in. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Right now we're at the phase where we just want to get as many eyeballs on the project as like possible, and not, necessarily for like financial gain, but I think like the thing that draws me to movies in general is like feeling connected to the larger experience. So we thought if we told a story that was very specific, it might resonate with a good number of people. So we just want to see what's possible there, and who might resonate. And then the financial aspect, we'll figure it out, not only
I
on
was
like,
thinking in general in terms of
but yeah,
overall
on
grouping.
future projects and
Because you
everything.
got a project with Gravitas, and they're in a stage where they're not going to lose. And it's a very smart company, so
Absolutely.
you will have a good shot out there no matter what. But I was thinking more in a general sense, because not every project's going to get Gravitas to be on it, and
Yeah, absolutely.
we need to. This is content. I hate calling it that, but when it comes down to who's going to get a few bucks back, even 20 years later, when you got to pay for your grandson's, first year of tuition because his father lost his job that month. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
uh, that's important. Um, I think that we never really put any power into it as we've been bringing this up since the 90s. We just kept getting better at making these films under impossible situations, like Amazing Eskimos, who can do this under 40 degrees below. But still, there's
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think you're right. I think
inspiring.
education, empowering the independent filmmaker, and education of how to self-distribute and know what it all means is obviously super important. And the more we, spread that knowledge and learn about it, the better.
That's why you got to talk to Mervish. Okay, Mervish is the man. He was
Yeah,
actually born
we'll
on
be
the same
joining you
date
in
as me,
Aspen.
by the way. One of the founders of Slam Dance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's made 6 of his own independent films, or 7. So he wrote a book on it. He's got a book. I'll hook you to him because he's a super guy. I think you'll like him, and you should go to Slam Dance with something.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Show up with something. Just, you know what? Go there anyway with this, and just, rent a room for a night one and show it. That's what you should do. Guaranteed. That's what Harvey Weinstein would have told you 20 years ago too.
Right, right.
Just Park City and rent a room and show it.
Well, it's
Your own. But
talking to
Gravitas,
you and
send the
knowing that
bill to
you're
Gravitas and let them say, okay. And that's all. Do it.
Okay.
Do it. That is what that's how we built Slam Dance, and the whole thing that's what you do. The
Yeah, I
people
think
are
just
there. Show your film.
it's some of the directors I work with producing too, you see that like it takes this like commitment to just like keep on driving something forward over and over and over again. And
Yeah,
talking to you,
that's Sundance, in 10 days, 8 days. And just go there with the film. You got a digital. You'll see. Somebody will run it for you. I guarantee you, there's people running around starting festivals in the middle of the night all the time there. You'll get eyes.
No, it's good. It's
Can't
good thinking.
possibly say anything except either they're going to pay the bill because they're making money from it, or, oh, we didn't authorize it, and say fuck it, but you'll still win.
We're doing a screening tonight in the Lower East Side of New York, so we'll see
Super.
what type of reaction we get, and then what kind of ideas generate from that. But yeah, I was gonna say, just it's obviously difficult to maintain confidence throughout the process. So talking to someone like you who really responded to the material and liked it just gives us like hope that more people will find it and enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of crappy films. I mean, not crappy, but don't, you're not walking out of the theater and saying, you're thinking about one performance, or, some aspects of it, or et cetera, et cetera. Or, but it was a nice, pure film. I felt good. Actually, I get sentimental when you hit it. Like your first 30 minutes to me were perfect. Okay? Boom.
Wow.
Thank you. High
Maybe
praise.
yeah.
They were, and not every single minute. The rest of the film was perfect, but it was pretty much you had it and you took it home. I
We'll
like
take it.
I like to wait after I've done about 2/3 of the way through a film. Like go do anything else, eat something, go try to do adult things, and relax or whatever that might be. And then I like to watch those last 20-30 minutes to see if the director, the team can take the film home.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you think we took it home. That means a lot.
It wasn't, it wasn't any question. You don't feel like, now after that first, but the 30 minutes were perfect as a setup to it. Set up all your characters. I mean, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Working
Thank you so
that
much.
way. Get the expensive actors down the line to say, see how well it works, and then don't get, bullshit on that. And you're gonna get a system. I like it. I just learned this stuff. I'm a slow learner. It took me I'm not going to get many narrative features before I die. Maybe I'll get 2 or 3, but sometimes you get on a roll. But I got one great documentary, and I've had a lot of fun when it wasn't rotten.
Exactly, right?
Go to Slam Dance. Go there and show your film. Get a Park City run. Get 2 runs there.
Yeah, we're gonna start thinking about creative ways to augment and getting it out there more. And
You
we'll
won't
see.
have to pay to run it yourself, except maybe a special run for somebody or other in a room, because it really is meaningful. that somebody will put you up under their festival or whatever their party or whatever it'll be, and then you just get the flyers out, and you can kill it in Park City, and especially with electronics on top. I mean, it's a place to hit. It's like
Yeah.
hitting and all right.
Mhm.
There are certain places you get multiple returns on your time. I was lucky. I just happened to start out there, and
Right,
I
right.
could have started out in like Boulder or something, and I mean it was nice.
Yeah.
It
Few
was Park
beautiful
City.
places to start out.
Park City
Yeah.
it's not going to be like that in 2 years. I believe they're going to take a walk finally. Signed
Yeah,
them
it's,
on.
Yeah, it's true.
seems like they're deciding, what the future is, but hopefully they have a strong festival this year and can figure out a way to make it stay. Just because people have so many great memories tied to being in Park
I
City. But
know, but I'd like to think that too, but I don't think, I think the odds are against it. I think that the they don't have that great a bargaining position with Park City, because Park City could still get more money from the ski trade anyway, whether the festivals are there or not. You know, they don't
Mhm.
really have to have them. It's
yeah, the Epic Pass for skiing, it's like people can go ski these like awesome mountains every weekend, and it's not so cost prohibitive. So the restaurants and the hotels are more often full. So the town doesn't need the festival as much, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see how they work it all out.
Yeah, well, I hope, I'd like to see, I have such beautiful footage from years ago, Park City going up and down that hill at night and with the
Yeah,
snow.
of
It's
course.
like, it's too sleigh bell to be, but it's sweet, you have to get to climate to be. I think this year it might be because of the polar vortex. I'm gonna probably get a bunch of snow in Park City.
Yeah, yeah. It snowed around New York last night. Right?
I say go, okay? Tell
Okay.
Gotta
tell
get organized
Gravitas
quickly.
I recommend they do it, and they should come themselves and enjoy it.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
let
talk.
them know.
We'll talk. We'll keep talking to them about what kind of opportunities there
Yeah.
are to make specialized screenings. But yeah, thank you for the encouragement.
Yeah.
So tell me, we got a few minutes or whatever. Tell me about your visions for the indie film, what you guys want to do in the future, types of things, without blowing any IP, and just in general. I want to hear what you have to say about taking on this ridiculous addiction. And it is, especially if you know you're good, uh, it's really hard to quit.
I'm focused more on development right now because I've noticed like a couple inefficiencies. Like I've gotten fortunate that I've had positive experiences with the directors on films that I've produced, but you really don't know what it's going to be like and if your visions align, like because you're rushed to get to kind of like day one of shooting. I'd rather like start focusing on the script phase earlier and seeing if it's a positive collaboration, and then once we have the draft that we feel good about and ready to shoot in place, okay, this is a good fit. I'm going to produce it. Like, let's go make the film. Or, this other producer might have, a better grasp of your vision, and you'd be a good fit. Put you together and let you go out and make it. Just I think getting, more in place to be in a position to succeed earlier is where my head's at right now. But you brought up a lot of interesting questions about distribution that I think I'm going to continue to be thinking about, and we'll have to get a grasp on to
I
ensure
just
those.
think if you look at the numbers, there's no way, however they cut the final deals, even if they get really actually fair, totally or even three-quarters fair, that there's too much volume with this kind of industry to sell it as a gourmet item, and that means that if people are going to keep doing really good stuff, then there has to be another way that if they're willing to go and, well, go and hustle the product, that they should be able to do that. And that I think has got to be just no question about that. And then, we want to save the theaters too. And, there's lots of things that can go along. I mean, it's still going to end up, when it's all done, that Hollywood will control the distribution chain. And Hollywood is with quotes, because it's, investment bankers in Palo Alto and in, Silicon Alley in New York. It's they're going to control that, because there's no other way to really get those big numbers than for a certain amount of people to hook to a certain amount of theaters through a certain amount of deals and send a certain amount of product through. So, but people are consuming the product in so many other ways that, there's no reason that should be monopolized at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with AVOD, that's like a lot of people are getting, returns on projects that have been out for a long time suddenly because college aged, kids are watching it on AVOD and that's adding up. So yeah, the conversation's definitely moving, and I'm, not smart enough to know exactly where things are gonna land, but we'll be continuing to follow it, and then from like a creative output place, like yeah, trying our best to figure out how to make the best movies possible is the thing that we're in control over. So we'll try our best and
It sounds like you came from a good family. And so what did your mom and dad do for a living?
me specifically.
Yeah.
My mother was a teacher and then went on to run the continuing education program in the town that I grew up, and my father is a lawyer, and yeah, I think
I
just
went to Dickinson College. Everybody said you're a blue collar kid. You're already 20,000 in debt, and you're not going to go to law school. No, that's what we had. We had one graduate school, a law school. Yeah, everybody's lawyers before. I think there should be more engineers. Personally, I did and studied engineering a bit afterwards. I like being in control of the equipment. You know, um, putting the image down myself. I love shooting it. But you got to find something that you want to do right on it, so that you always have, you know, um, some good fun from it and reason to cut the cost because of your skills and that kind of shit. Anyway, I look forward to seeing your stuff, but I just think that on this one, it's got a unique time frame fit, that I never really thought about this before, because I never saw a film in this youth age that would appeal, that had that kind of, semi like the early Nicholson films kind of sophistication. You know what I'm saying? But they're younger guys. Uh, so like I said, you should hit the high schools in June, you know? Hit big ones in like the urban areas, you know? And the ones like on the verge of the suburbs. That's
Yeah.
and then in September hit the like small Dickinsons, Haverford, Swarthmores, Bards and colleges, like four, or so every month, and they know what to do with it. They can scale this really well.
Yeah. No,
So
we're trying to,
stay on them.
either,
Get them
I was
before
gonna
they
say,
go
yeah.
August. Once August
Okay.
comes around, as far as next, that's it. You have to get your deals all in by June and executed in July. That's what I think. August, they all go. They just don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how to get it out in a kind of creative boutique style, and
I'll email you my phone number. We can talk about that. It's this was very good in terms of seeing a good narrative that's going out there, and you're going to try to keep making more, which is cool too. I definitely need to book you too. This one of my main people in North Jersey. He's really good looking, good solid lead, and he's been working hard for 20 years, and they have a whole group going out there. Because they're right on the edge of New York when they need to be, but it's more like that, those little towns right and coming into New York,
Yeah.
Off of 3. There's like 4 or 5 of them right in the little road. You make a
Right,
wrong turn. It take you 45 minutes to come back. But it's they're from out there. They're pretty sophisticated, but they do their own shit. At least you got to meet my one bro who's a really great actor anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely
Always
email
wanna meet
us.
some good actors. Yeah.
What?
Always want to meet some talented actors for sure.
Yeah, I
So.
know. He knew what he was doing right from the start. When I've been about 15 years, and you just got a supportive wife, and he works. And they've done some pretty cool stuff. Anyway, well, you come up from like Pennsylvania, you know, uh, that's where you go through North Jersey. So I got a feel for it. It's an interesting vibe, you know. Like when you're from Philly, like we're kind of slow compared to those New York people, they walk into you if you suddenly stop to think where you're going to move next. So it's like anyway. I'm glad to meet you. I'm so
Yeah,
nice.
it's great meeting you.
It's good it gives me hope because we're kicking ass with documentary indie documentaries, HBO, whatever, on some subjects it's worthwhile, but the narrative is so tough,
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you watching it and talking to us about it and like your platform to help us get it out there. So
Yeah, invite me to the
thank
next
you.
good party on this. I'll even leave the house.
All right, we will. We'll email
We
you.
will.
Now we have your email, so you'll be hearing from us.
Yeah, I'll send you my phone number. We could talk when you
Okay.
get caught up later in the week if you want about some of the business shit that might be able to. I want to connect you to Mervis though, because if you want to go to Park City, you should talk to him, now. So
Right.
I'll send you
And
my
then
phone number.
do you post this interview online, or what's the next step?
Well, I think I can get away. We didn't make too many nasty mistakes or flub. I don't have to edit this to get it up right away. It actually comes down to I could put it up and take it back down after when you tie it more to where you're, going to be showing somewhere or something else. But I could put it up right away, I think, because it's pretty good, and
Yeah.
I, you know,
And the movie's going to be out, tomorrow, to be for rent, So
oh,
you'll be
okay. Then
available iTunes, Amazon,
definitely
anywhere where you
put
can
it
rent
up
movies.
tomorrow and send some kind of 2 or 3 minute, hey, we're going up tomorrow, and if you get in now on the ground floor, your returns will be by 100x, something, and I'll put that up, run that up right next to it, and that'll be real cool. How's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the film and then talk to us about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. Later.
All right.
Alrighty. All right. Thanks again.
Nice to meet you guys.
You too.
As well.
Bye.
Thank you.